Defense lawyers for South Sudan's suspended first vice president, Dr. Riek, have challenged prosecutors to provide evidence linking him to the death of the army commander in Nasir, the court has heard. During the special tribunal in Juba on Friday, the defense team cross-examined the prosecution's first witness, a military investigator, who conceded there was no audio or video proof that Dr. Machar ordered the killing of Maj. Gen. David Major Dak. General Major and 27 of his bodyguards were killed on March 7 during an attempted evacuation by a UN mission plane in the town of Nasir. Dr. Machar, 73, and 7 co-accused faced charges related to the incident. The court session on Friday marked the 26th hearing in a case that has drawn significant attention in the world's youngest nation. Key testimony: the witness, Major Peter Manuel Deng, who is part of the military investigation into the attack, testified that the White Army militia leader, Kang Makana, was responsible for the general's death. Under cross-examination from Dr. Machar's defense counsel, Kor Lul Kor, Maj Manuel was asked to present any recorded evidence that his client had instructed Makana to carry out the killing. "I am not aware of any audio or video where Dr. Machar ordered Kang Makana to kill Major General David Major Dak," Maj Manuel told the court. When pressed on the command structure, Maj Manuel stated that no soldier can open gunfire or attack a military garrison without orders from a commander. He maintained that while the accused were not physically present in Nasir during the attack, the commander-in-chief cannot go to the battlefield to lead the soldiers. The defense also questioned the scope of the military's investigation. Maj Manuel acknowledged that a committee formed to investigate the Nasir incident did not interview 3 senior generals, including the former and current chiefs of defense forces, about their roles, as its mandate was limited to gathering facts and identifying the attackers. He also confirmed that he was unaware of a visit by a security committee from Upper Nile State during the evacuation, though he noted that the then Nasir County Commissioner, an accused individual currently at large, was present. Challenges to evidence. The hearing saw tense exchanges as defense lawyers aggressively challenged the evidence and methods used by prosecutors. In one instance, the prosecution objected to a defense request for the names of soldiers who were with Gen Major when he died. The court upheld the objection, ruling that the names pertained to future witnesses. The defense also scrutinized video evidence presented by the prosecution. One video featured the late White Army commander, Torgile, accusing the government of bombing civilians, a claim the witness denied. Another showed Guile alleging the government used specific militias in troop rotations, which the witness countered, stating those groups were fully integrated into the National Army, SSBDF. Also, the defense lawyer questioned the prosecution witness on the status of the 2018 peace agreement. Maj Manuel acknowledged that the formation of a unified force was part of the deal, but stated that certain arrangements remained incomplete. The court adjourned and will reconvene on Monday, December 1, 2025, for the defense to continue its cross-examination of Major Manuel. The defendants are Dr. Riek Machar, Pute Kong Chul, Mampal Duer, Gatwech Lam Puch, Lieutenant General Gabriel Dup Lam, Camillo Gatmichael, Matingyak Riek, and Dominic Gatgok Riek. London. The High Court in London has discharged an interim injunction that had prevented the government of South Sudan from loading and selling a 600,000-barrel cargo of Dar blend crude, clearing the way for the shipment to proceed from Port Sudan just hours before its scheduled lifting. The ruling brings temporary relief to the world's youngest nation, which relies on oil for more than 90% of its budget revenue, but leaves unresolved a much larger claim by Dubai-based commodity trader BB Energy for approximately $188 million in alleged unpaid fuel financing. Mr. Justice Christopher Butcher had granted BB Energy an urgent ex parte worldwide freezing order on November 18 after the trader argued that South Sudan and its state-owned Nile Petroleum Operating Company, NilePet, had diverted multiple oil cargoes to third parties in breach of a February 2024 prepayment agreement. Under that facility, BB Energy advanced around $100 million against the delivery of 5 cargoes of Dar, or Nile blend crude. In his November 18 judgment, the judge noted good grounds for thinking that neither defendant has the funds to meet any judgment for the value of the blocked cargo, which he estimated at more than $20 million. in response to a question about the existence of evidence confirming that Torgile received instructions from Dr. Machar or any of the 7 SPLM/AIO detainees to attack the SSBDF Nasir garrison. The witness gave a definitive negative answer. It is noteworthy that the late Torgile stated in the aforementioned video that President Salva Kiir and Dr. Machar were responsible for the deterioration of the security situation in the region and that they should be held accountable. These statements confirm his actual independence and deny that he received instructions from Dr. Machar or the SPLM/IO leadership. When asked if he was aware of an agreement between the former Chief of Defense Forces, CDF, of the South Sudan People's Defense Forces, SSPDF, General Santino Dangwool, and the acting Chief of Staff of the Sudan People's Liberation Army in Opposition, SPLAIO, General Gabriel Duplam, at the level of the Joint Defense Board, JDB, stipulating that the forces to be transported to Nasir must be unified forces, he denied knowledge of this agreement. Maluel also confirmed, agreeing with the defense, that General Duplam had insisted on sending only unified forces to Nasir, thus rejecting the decision of the new CDF, General Paul Nong Majok, to send one-sided forces to the area during a closed Army command meeting. When asked if General Duplam had publicly announced his rejection of this decision in the media, the prosecution witness denied it. In a related context, Major Peter Maluel Dang denied the existence of any document confirming the integration of the Agwalek militias into the SSBDF. In response to an inquiry about Republican Order Number 65/2024, issued on April 3, 2024, which stipulated the integration of only 12 officers from the SPLM/AIO into the South Sudan People's Defense Forces without mentioning the Agwalek militias belonging to General Johnson Olani. The prosecution witness agreed with the defense that General Olani had stated in a video recorded in Malakal while addressing his forces that he would return to Juba to expedite the procedures for their integration into the army. These details confirm the accuracy of the statements made by the late Torgile, Minister Pute Konkol, and MP Gatwech Lampuch, who described the Agwalek forces as untrained militias. The presiding judge of the sham court has adjourned the session until Monday, December 1st, when the defense is expected to continue cross-examining the prosecution's first witness. Now, Gangster Kiir Protection Unit is all aware of the Dinka militia's secret move to attack innocent civilians in Dompayam Olang County. They were all seen in frightening moves in Jellichal and Loni Dangyul. And the good news reaching us is that all Agwalek who were being misled to help by the Dinka deputy governor retreated back to Malakal. November 29, 2025, Geneva. The humanitarian situation in South Sudan is continually degrading, with a sharp rise in casualties from airstrikes and ground fighting, aid agencies have told the UN. A senior official from the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, said the use of aircraft and barrel bombs had intensified, displacing hundreds of thousands. The warning comes as funding for the crisis is reported to be in decline. Florence Gillette, the head of the ICRC delegation in South Sudan, briefed journalists on Friday in Geneva on an alarming medical crisis. She said nearly 1,000 weapon-wounded patients had been treated in ICRC-supported hospitals so far in 2025, the highest number recorded since 2018. In the past 8 years, we have conducted more than 25,000 surgeries on 5,000 persons wounded by weapons, Ms. Gillette added. The conflict is occurring in 7 out of the country's 10 states, she explained. Alongside the aerial attacks, hostilities on the ground have killed and injured many, displacing close to 500,000 people. The crisis is compounded by the arrival of some 1.2 million people who have fled the conflict in neighboring Sudan, many living in dire conditions. Funding decline. Ms. Gillette warned that the immense humanitarian needs were not being met, with about 57% of the population facing food insecurity. She said health facilities, highly dependent on international aid, had suffered a drastic reduction in capacity. This was further exacerbated by the fact that funding continued to decline and donor interest has decreased in recent years, she stated. In response to questions, Ms. Gillette said the aerial weapons being used most likely came from private companies. While not highly sophisticated, she said they created significant challenges for civilians and aid workers. The downsizing of the UN peacekeeping mission in South Sudan, UNMISS, will also affect humanitarian assistance and the protection of civilians, she warned. The ICRC official said that while humanitarian flights were still possible in South Sudan, unlike in Sudan, they required coordination with armed forces to access certain areas and evacuate the wounded. When asked by the defense whether the committee had visited the site of the incident in Nasir or even Malakal town in Upper Nile State, the SSBDF officer responded negatively. Major Manuel stated that the committee relied on the testimonies of surviving witnesses and intelligence reports. Additionally, the prosecution witness admitted that the committee had not investigated General Santino Dangwul, the former Chief of Defense Forces (CDF) of the SSBDF, General Dr. Paul Nong Majok, the current CDF of the SSBDF, or Lieutenant General Gabriel Duplam, the acting Chief of Staff of the SPLA-IO, to determine the causes of the Nasir events. Furthermore, the committee had not inquired with the Upper Nile State Security Committee. The witness further testified that the committee had not investigated the Upper Nile government representatives, State Parliament member Mr. Lonnie Beale and Deputy Commissioner of the State Revenue Authority, Mr. Bofly. Both individuals were officially tasked with the mission of evacuating Major General David Major and other stranded soldiers from Nasir, and they were also the ones who filmed the incident. Moreover, when the witness was asked about his knowledge regarding the Upper Nile state government holding a press conference on March 7, 2025, to clarify the Nasir events, he denied having any knowledge of it. When asked if the SSBDF committee had inquired with the United Nations mission that carried out the evacuation, he denied that they had done so. Major Peter Manuel also confirmed that he had no knowledge of the UN mission conducting an investigation into the events related to the evacuation.